Hey guys, welcome back. I thought I'd show you what I've been doing lately to achieve maximum coverage using all drugstore products. I personally prefer to have a full coverage foundation on whenever I do my makeup, so if you're interested in seeing how I achieve this look, just keep watching because I'm going to get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my CoverGirl Outlast 3-in-1 foundation, so it's a primer, concealer, and foundation all in one, and it does have SPF 20 in it as well, which is really nice. I'm just going to start by dotting this all over my face and paying particular attention to my problem areas, like around my nose where my glasses sit, and dotting it down around my neck as well because I want to make sure that it blends in with my tan. So to blend this all in, I'm just using my Real Techniques buffing brush. I love this. I use it for pretty much everything. You'll see later on I use it to blend out my concealer as well, and I just liked waving that around a little bit too much. But I'm going to start by just dragging it back into the hairline because I want to not have any harsh lines around that area, of course. And then I want to make sure that I'm blending it back into my ears and down my neck too, just to avoid any harsh lines or obvious discoloration. And I'll just speed through this because this takes a little bit of time. And after I've blended all of that out really well, I'm going to go in with my Essence concealer. This is the Match 2 Cover Cream Concealer, and it is in shade 10, which is natural beige. And this stuff has really great coverage, and it's super, super cheap. I think it was about $1 or maybe $2, and you get those two little pots in there, and they're just really, really thick. If you want a more natural or light coverage concealer, this is definitely not the one that you want to go with. This is actually really awesome. It's probably my favorite concealer at the moment. As you can tell, I'm going pretty hardcore on the concealer, but that's just because I tend to get a lot of redness in my face, especially along my nose and then my cheeks and jawline, basically just everywhere. But you definitely don't have to go this heavy with it. If you don't need that much, that's fine. But I'm just going to do this because I am going for a maximum full coverage effect. And once again, I'm going back in with my Real Techniques buffing brush, and I'm just going to basically stipple out the rest of the concealer, and then also use some small circular motions. I don't want to wipe it too hard across my face because it'll take away the foundation from underneath, and it will also leave some really kind of nasty lines in the product, which I don't want to do. If you don't have one of these buffing brushes, you could also just use any sort of beauty blender or your fingers if you prefer, but I just have a lot of the product on my face and it's a bit easier to use the buffing brush. And I'm just going to fast forward through this part as well because this is also taking a really long time. So you can definitely tell that there's a huge difference between where I've only applied my foundation as opposed to the concealer. The concealer is really giving it a light, full coverage effect. I don't want it all over my face just because it does get really heavy, but I do like that it conceals the redness around my nose and under my eye as well. And there were a few spots around my inner eye here that I couldn't get with the buffing brush, so I'm just going to finish it off with my fingers. And this is what it looks like with just the concealer and the foundation. I've already got some pretty decent coverage going on. Looks a little crazy, so I'm going to go in with the Marcel Sunwave Pressed Bronzing Powder. I really like this stuff right now. It's got some nice shades in it, and it blends out really easily, and it doesn't go on too harsh. This brush, I don't know where I got it. I've just had it forever, so I'm going to use that to just bronze up the side of my temples here, and then I'm going to do a bit of contouring down my cheeks and then at the tip of my nose as well. So this is the NYX Box of Smoky Looks collection. I can't remember exactly where I got this, but I'm going to use these two shades right here for contouring, and just using my Real Techniques contouring brush to go in along the shadows or the hollows of my cheek, and then I'm going to do it around my temples and a little bit along my jawline too. When I start to contour the sides of my forehead here, I like to match it up with the arch of my brow and go kind of down in sort of like a triangle shape from there. This contour that I'm using, I don't know why it looks like this on camera, but I swear it doesn't look like that in real life, but there's almost like a shine to it. Eventually, you'll see like it looks kind of dark and crazy right now, but it does go away and it looks a lot more natural in person. And here I'm taking my Sonia Kashuk brush, and it's the number 28 one, and I'm using the same darker shade just to contour down the edges of my nose. I want it to be a little bit more thin than it is right now. And then I'm just going to use my finger to blend the edges of that out, and then I'm going to go along my jawline with the same brush. And now I'm just going to go back in with the Essence concealer and just go down the center of my nose again, because when I was blending it out I did get a little bit in the center, so I just want to make that look more refined. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys found this useful or enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.